Hello, my name is Eric Stelle, and I am a Senior Deliverability Specialist with Map Digital. I've been asked to talk a bit about new authentication requirements, which Google and Yahoo published in a blog back in October of 2023. Why am I rehashing old news? Well, it's because the live date for those changes was set for February 2024, and that's just around the corner. I've enlisted my Italian counterpart, Massimiliano, as well to help expand on the items specified in the. But first, a little back. Since the first email was sent in 1971, giving the world a new tool to communicate, producers and consumers alike have looked for ways to leverage the tool. Unfortunately, nefarious elements have also done the same. To help combat spoofing, for example, Domain Keys Identified Mail, or DKIM for short, was created to give senders of mail the ability to have a distinct identity by allowing the creation of a unique digital signature. Other measures like SPF gave senders a method by which the server sending mail could authorize the mail originating from the sender's domain. Authentication is central to the trust relationship between parties in an email exchange. Fast forward now to October 2023, Google and Yahoo, two email providers with very prominent subscribership in the US and around the globe, took steps in their efforts to ensure authenticity in the sender-to-recipient relationship. In today's video, my colleague Massimiliano and I will speak on some highlights of this announcement. Massimiliano, start us off by talking about authentication and what the two providers had to say.
Primarily, there are two requirements. A user who sends their email from an approved IP address, and here we enter in the realm of the SPF. And a user who correctly signs the message. I refer to the DKIM. For senders, instead, these new, more restrictive authentication policies will help protecting their traffic and consequently make it less accessible to phishing attacks, which, if they were to occur, could be identified and blocked in real time.
With regard to the second point of the announcement, enable easy unsubscription, Google and Yahoo speak to not having to jump through hoops to stop receiving mail. It seems safe to say, with how mature the email and digital community is, every individual with an email box has most likely been the target of spam at some point or another. Providers of email are on the front lines of the fight against spam and use a variety of tactics to prevent. One simple method is to empower recipients' digital autonomy by giving them the right to refuse communication from a sender, by giving them an unsubscribe ability from an email. With regard to unsubscription from email, this can manifest as slow processing, where the request is received, but the address is slow to be removed from lists under the auspice of it being hard to manually process a large number of unsubscribers. Other senders, in order to slow or prevent attrition of their email lists due to unsubscription, choose to obfuscate this unsubscription process, making it so hard to unsubscribe that the recipient just gives. In response to these practices, providers have come up with a process that is colloquially referred to as one-click unsubscribe. This manifests in the recipient experience as a link at the top of their email that simply says, unsubscribe. Users can click once to be removed from future emails from that sender. It might seem simplistic, but compared to requiring a recipient log or sign in, provide account details that they may or may not remember, and more just to be unsubscribed, one-click unsubscribe is a streamlined tool which empowers the recipient preference. Google and Yahoo have stated in no uncertain terms that bulk senders are required to provide recipients with the ability to unsubscribe from commercial email in one click, and that this unsubscription be processed within 2 days.
Another requirement that most senders must align with is to ensure that the recipients are truly interested in the message they receive, and thus the email is desired. But how do you understand when a user is interested in your messages? In reality, the answer is quite simple. At the moment when starting from the subscription form, we begin to collect information about our subscribers. Google and Yahoo are becoming increasingly less tolerant of senders who do not apply best practices, especially when the non-observance of these can lead the users to leave the email account. Fortunately, from Google, we have a rather clear indicator now. In fact, the complaint rate that a campaign can generate without consequences and in fact, the deliverability will be 0.5%.
Google has for quite some time had such a tool in place called simply Postmaster Tool. This is a fantastic utility for senders who want to broadcast mail to Google's subscribership. Before Postmaster tools, senders of mail had to either email the postmaster directly, leverage personal relationships, or submit a request in a form that may or may not ever see a direct response. The feedback that Google provides in their tool includes ratings for IP and domain reputation, based off recipient experience, among many other metrics.
As you may have understood, the common thread of all this technical or non-technical implementation revolves around the user. If Google not only requests it, but even mandates the sender, that's not be a reason.